dashboard on this computer. Hi guys, Debbie Morrow here, founder of the Real Estate Agent Referral Network and Marketing Tips. And today I have with me Amy Downing from Amy Downing Marketing and Media and Marketing. Got it backwards, but she has kind of a unique thing that she's doing to work with realtors to help them generate their own leads kind of organically. And so, Amy, first of all, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in all of this.
Well, I spent 20 years as a marketing director in healthcare and the corporate world and nonprofit world. And as a second career, I started editing and producing podcasts just as a little side hustle. And I really enjoyed that. And I felt like there was probably a lot of opportunity for people to use a podcast as part of their marketing strategy. So I started kind of going down that rabbit hole and learning more about how you would maybe use marketing, combine marketing and podcasting together, and discovered that those two things work really well together. It's just a great platform for people to share their expertise and really form a connection when you're speaking right in someone's ear, and they're listening to you like that. You're just really just making a really emotional connection in a way that I think even video doesn't do, at least, especially for those auditory learners, people who like to learn by listening. It just really forges that deep connection. So that's kind of how it all started. And
And
then,
I was just in the next step. Tell me, like, where did it go from there?
well, then I kind of wanted to take it a step further. So I developed this program that actually uses a private podcast to deliver educational content. And I thought it would work really well for realtors because I had made a connection with a local broker in my town, and they had just set up a podcast studio for their agents to use. And it felt like their agents were a little bit lost about how to really utilize that. So I went over and I spoke to a group of agents over there, and gave them some ideas about how they could use podcasting. But it was really finding that they would burn out with the idea of trying to do a regular, weekly podcast, because that's a lot of work. That's a lot of content to produce. So I came up with this idea where they could really just come up with some evergreen content, like 4 to 6 episodes, that really showcases their expertise as a real estate agent. And then by packaging that into a private podcast, someone has to give up their email address in order to get access to it. So now you're building your email list with people who are interested in your topic and getting in front of them that way, and getting the opportunity to nurture that audience a little bit further, not only through the podcast, but through the additional emails that you can send out. So I put together this package that includes, first of all, just defining your niche. You need to know who you're speaking to in this content. The second step is really understanding what value you bring to the table as an agent, and really being able to communicate that value through your messaging. And from there, I will sit down and help somebody really develop their content, their talking points, and organize that into the 4 to 6 episodes. And then I am also on the recording with them, kind of coaching them through the recording process, because that can be a little intimidating. You're just talking into, the camera. At least with me on there, they're talking to me, and I think that makes it a little bit easier to get through the recording process. Then I handle all the background, all the tech. I edit the content down and format it into the videos and put it in the format it needs to be uploaded to the podcast platforms. Write the descriptions, write the introductory email and a couple of follow-up emails that they can send out and set up the little automation sequence so that all happens automatically. Somebody comes to your landing page, they put in their email address to get access to the podcast, and then they are automatically emailed a link to start listening to it in their favorite player. And then a couple days later, they'll maybe get another email, and then another email a couple days after that, just to kind of introduce the agent and keep them top of mind. So
Gotcha.
I
And
include
so when they're getting each email, is that an email with another episode of the podcast, or are there, kind of standalone emails in between, or how do you do that?
I recommend that somebody releases all the content all at one time. It is possible to drip it out, but I think you're better off just releasing that all at once, let somebody binge it, and then follow up with a couple of emails just to make sure you're top of mind, maybe kind of checking in to make sure that they've listened to it. So it's a good reminder if they haven't and they need to get back to that, and just kind of reminding them of your contact information and with the idea that the person who's taken the time to listen to this content is really interested and I would reach out to you at some point once they've had a chance to consume that content.
Yeah, and we all know that today email is king, right? So having access to their email address and being able to stay top of mind with them is super important. One of the things that you said before we started recording here is you help them set up their Google My Business and get the podcast out there on their Google My Business. So I thought that was really unique. Care to expand on that a little bit?
Oh yes, so that's the last piece is the what I call the visibility strategy because you've got to get eyeballs on your private podcast in order for people to sign up for it. So I have a list of 100 different places where somebody could share their link. But what I think is really probably the most powerful organic place to do that is a Google My Business profile. So if the agent doesn't already have that, I will help them get that set up. And then we can put a link to the private podcast sign up page right there on the Google My Business profile. That way, when someone in your local community is looking for an agent, they're going to Google, and then hopefully we can optimize that profile so that you're right up there at the top and they will see that link to your private podcast. They get to know you a little bit through that. And at that point, they're coming to you. They're, you're attracting people to you instead of the other way around. Mm-hmm.
Right, right, certainly. So, is there anything else that you want the people in our group to know about what you do?
Well, what I like about this is it's just such a great complete package of marketing. It's the developing your niche. It's getting your content together. It's having a way to get visible, and then it's setting up your email address. So I really feel like this package really sets you up for success.
What I like about it is you do all the work. Right? I mean, there's a ton of agents out there who just really have been in the business for a while and really know what they're doing. They've got a lot of experience in the real estate industry, but don't have experience in podcasting and cutting down and whatever editing, all of that kind of stuff. And so this kind of I won't say done for you, but kind of done with you because you help them, through the podcast, but then you do all the editing and stuff in the background. I think that's super important and really opens this up to a lot more people who just don't want to do that themselves.
Oh, exactly. And it is set up in a what I like to call a VIP day where we can do most of the work in a day. Now there is a little bit of pre-work for the agent to do. I have a couple worksheets I need them to fill out. We'll want to meet on Zoom first to kind of go over those. But then when we set up our recording day, we'll get all that recording done and get the bulk of the work done in that day. And then I have some work to do after that. So it can be a pretty quick turnaround. Again, depending on the ability of the agent to schedule it, but we're not going to drag it out. We're going to really get focused and get it done over the period of a couple of weeks. So, and then they have a
Excellent.
program, kind of a turnkey program that will keep working for them.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Okay. So when we're done here, I'm going to post this in the group for everyone to see, and you'll drop your contact information at the bottom. You'll have a link or something that they can reach out to you and find out more.
Yes, I have a contact card. I can drop a link to that. So,
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Amy, so much for being on with me today and sharing your unique proposition to our group. I think there could be a lot of benefits for people connecting with you and seeing how they can get this going.
Yeah, I just encourage anybody who's curious about it to reach out and we can have a conversation about how I can help them. So
Excellent. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
thank you.